Thanks for joining us once again for your weekly update from the City of New Hope. A time to chat with the mayor to find out what's new and coming up in the city. Welcome, Mayor Hemken. How are you today?
Hi, I'm just fine. We're going to have just a little bit shorter chat today because everybody's on vacation.
That's right. It was big vacations last week, but we have lots of notes to pass along. Let's begin with engineering within the city. A few updates of things happening around that might affect a little driving or what you see as you're driving. What's new in the city in this area?
Well, the 36th Avenue Bridge, if you go on 169, you'll notice that the bridge is there, but there's a lot of work they need to do on both sides of that bridge. So the last I heard is they weren't going to open until October. They thought maybe they'd be open before the school started. So October is the last I heard, but as we get a little closer, we'll give you an update on when that's going to be.
Couple other things happening through engineering and also through the public works is out there working on some weeds and street sweeping. So just keeping the city looking neat. Is that correct?
It is. With all this rain, lots of debris has washed into the street, into the drains. So they're doing some street sweeping internally. Twice a year, we actually hire a firm to sweep the whole city, and they'll do all of the street. These guys are just mostly doing the curb line to get that debris out of the gutters.
Very good. Let's move on to community development. Talk about a few things happening here. One is the RAVE Awards. And again, remind us what that is and that fast approaching deadline.
Well, when people spend a little extra time and money on their homes to improve them, we want to know about that because we want to give them a RAVE award. And RAVE is not an acronym. It just means yay, that kind of rave. So you have until the 26th of July. You can either nominate yourself or nominate someone else. You can go online and get that nomination form. And of course, you can always go to City Hall and get that. After the 26th of July, the team will go out and look at the projects, and then we'll do the awards after that, sometime probably in September.
You see that website again, newhopemn.gov. You can find out more information about that award or also about this next topic, scattered site housing. A lot of work happening in the city in this area. And let's talk about a couple properties here. 3840 Oregon. Tell us about what stage of the process that property's in.
Well, that's a little bit of a backstory that comes with that. There was a big piece of land in 1953. They built one house on that, thinking it was going to be a whole development. Well, that development never happened. And so the city bought all of that land for a park, which is called Lions Park. Well, there sits that house, and that house has been there for a long time. We've tried to buy it a couple times and just weren't successful at that. And just recently, the house has been rented, and now the renters were moving out, and the owners is anxious to sell. So we'll be buying that. They're closing on that on the 11th of July. And after that closing, then they'll do some fire and police training in there. Don't know if they're going to do a live burn or not. I haven't heard, but that'll come sometime after the 11th of July. And then after that training, they'll demolish the house, and then we have to rezone the property because it has to be zoned as park. So lots of stuff will go on. Nothing's going to be built there, at least that we know of at the moment. No house is going to be built there. We don't know exactly what we're going to do with it, but we do want that piece of property to become part of Lions Park.
As far as what will be added to the park, is it just more grassy area or are there plans for anything else where that house stands right now?
You know, this has all come pretty quickly, so there really isn't any plans. So we really don't know if they're planning to do anything. It does sit kind of high up, so it's on a hill, and right at the bottom of that is where the dog park and the ice skating rink is. So don't know what they're planning to do. They might do a rain garden. They might just leave it as green space.
All right, we'll keep people up to date on what happens with that. One other property to talk about, actually two side by side on 50th Avenue. These are moving through the process and a lot of work being done here.
That's 50th and Winnetka. We took that little old house that had been there forever and ever and split the lots. And so the interior lot is the one that's getting the two-story house. They tell me that they've already signed a contract and that house is sold. It's not nearly done. So most of the outside is pretty close to being done, and then they'll move inside to finish that up. Don't know when that closing will be. I imagine they won't close until it's finished. But they do have a building permit for the corner lot, the one that's closest to Winnetka. So that building will start to go up pretty quick too now.
Community development also works with the businesses in town and the business networking group, which is combined between Crystal and New Hope. They've got a meeting coming up in early August. Give us a little preview of where and what the topic is.
That's going to be August 7th. It's at 8:30 in the morning at 4000 Winnetka. And the host of that is going to be Lynn's Welding Training. Apparently, we have a training school, like a trade school, for welding. And that's where the meeting's going to be. So I'm imagining it's going to be really a lot of fun to see that and the training that goes on. Just a little side note with that. Last week, we had the Business Networking Group at a chiropractor who does tonal chiropractic. So I had a 1 hour class on what that means. Basically, it's gentle chiropractic, and they just, it's gentle pressure points, and they use a little machine to kind of shock that area. So that's what it is. If you're interested, it's on 36th, right off of 169.
All right, those are opportunities to learn a little bit about the businesses featured and to network with other business people as well. To the police department we go. A couple updates within this department. The first is some steering locks for a few brands of cars that I think the bad guys have been looking at. What is happening here?
I know they've done a lot of stuff, and they've done some recalls, but the police still have these steering wheel locks for Kias and Hyundais. And you can get those at the police station. They're free, but you have to bring an ID and you have to bring the vehicle registration with you. And they still have a few of those left, I understand. So if you need one, that's the place to get it.
Here's a few other reasons to go to the city's website. Once again, it's newhopemn.gov. If you want more information about possibly a ride along with the police or also maybe get involved in the police academy, tell us about these two great opportunities to learn more about police.
Well, the ride along is really fun. Usually you're in the police car a few hours. It's not the whole shift. How you do that is you either call or you go online to New Hope PD, so NHPD, and it'll say something. You go to the police department. You can sign up for a ride along. You can pick the time that you want to do this. Some people want to do it in the evening, some people during the day, but that's a free thing to do, and you get a really good understanding of what goes on with the police department. The other thing is the police academy. And now is the time to sign up for that. They have until the 19th of July to sign up for the police academy, and those spots go really, really quick. The academy will be on Tuesdays in September from 6 to 8, I believe it is, every Tuesday in September. I don't know if it's 4 weeks or 6 weeks, but if you want to sign up for that, that also is free, but you need to get busy and sign up real quick. You only have till the 19th of July.
All right, hustle over to the website to find out more about that. Let's go to Public Works, talk about some of the projects they're working on right now. And one is their own building. We've talked in the past about the walls going up. How is progress going there more than just the walls?
Well, if you drive by, you'll realize it's just gigantic. And it's so big because we're putting the snowplows in there, we're putting all the dump trucks in there. The whole idea behind that building was to get those vehicles out of the elements so that when it's 30 below or 20 below and you want to get your snowplow going, you don't have to warm it up first. It's in that building. So the roof is on, the walls are in, but now they have to do all the stuff that's inside. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. These vehicles come in wet if they're snowplows, and so they need underground drains to put them on. They need lifts to lift them up and do stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on inside the building. We feel that that building will be done before fall, so they'll be able to start move those things in there. Speaking of the snowplows, they are ready for their new names. So the new names have been picked, and they're just waiting for the stencils to come so they can put the new names on the snowplows.
Very fun. And if you remember, Star Wars related, why not, right? Have some Star Wars plows in the city of New Hope. Let's go to Park and Rec. A lot happening here as summer hits in full fashion. And again, we mentioned a little bit earlier, but Park and Rec involved in this area too. Just another reminder about the weeds out there. They're doing some inspections right now.
They are. The reason it's in the Park and Rec is because the forester actually works in the Park and Rec department. So if you or your neighbor has tall weeds, you need to call. If it's you, you need to mow. And if it's your neighbor, you just need to call the city forester and tell them that there's tall weeds there. The forester will go out, talk to the person that owns or rents the house and get them to cut the weeds. Well, a lot of times what happens is they don't get cut because the person either is sick, they're out of town, or they moved, or just some other reason. So we really need, it's not like you're tattling. We really need neighbors to let us know that there's a problem there and we can go out. So they get this letter that says cut your weeds. And if they don't get that done in 10 days, you'll get a fine. But the forester really wants to help you get those weeds cut. So if you need to be referred to a company that does that, in some cases the city does that and charges you, and you really don't want to be charged for that because it's kind of expensive. So
Mm-hmm.
cut your weeds. This is the time. And
Good
just a
advice.
reminder that boulevard in front of your house, you got to cut that too.
Okay.
That's just even though that's city owned property because it's a I don't know what do they call it,
The
but we own
easement.
easement. Thank you. We
Mm-hmm.
own
Mm-hmm.
the piece of property, but you need to cut it if it's getting long.
All right, good to know. Well, Park and Rec does a great job of putting on many programs, but they also have in the last few years, and maybe even longer than that, put together some great packs for families to have some fun on their own. Mayor, highlight those a little bit for us now that we're in the summer and kids are looking for things to do. What are some of the great packs that the Park and Rec group offers?
But you don't always have room for all this stuff. And you want
Yeah.
your kids to try it, but you don't want to actually buy it. So I'm reading this so I may get it right. They have family fun packs. They're available for 2 weeks. It costs $15. And in that, it's backyard games like horseshoes, ninja warriors, an obstacle course you can set up. So they also have sport packs. So in there, you get a basketball, a football, soccer, kickball, frisbee, all those things that you can try and you get to keep that for a couple of weeks. And then when it comes back, they sanitize all that before it goes out again.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing they have is the summer pack, pickleball rackets, tennis rackets, wiffle ball. Again, you want to try the sport, but you don't
Yep.
want to buy the thing until you know. And
Great idea.
then speaking of pickleball, we have two drop-in pickleball courts, one at
Mm-hmm.
Meadow Lake and one in Hidden Park, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. So you just show up with your pickleball racket and you just get a partner and drop in. They also do that at night from 7 to 9, same two parks.
Very good. And let's talk about dogs for those families that have dogs and maybe want to head to the park. There's some opportunity for the dogs to get some exercise in a safe area. Where are these parks?
Well, Liberty Park and Lions Park, both of those parks had ice rinks there, and now they're dog parks. So you can unleash your dog and let the dog run in this dog park. Just reminding people you are not allowed to have your dog unleashed in a park other than these where the dog parks are.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes the golf course. So don't just bring your dog over to the golf course and let him run or her run in that golf course. They
Mm-hmm.
need to be leashed unless they're in those two dog parks.
This next item from Park and Rec, really quick here. You need to take action. This is for the safety camps. We've been promoting them for a while, but time is now to really act for this. Remind us again what those camps are and why it's a great opportunity for kids in the area.
Well, Safety Camp happens every year in August. This is August 13th to the 15th. It's for kids going into the third to the fifth grade. And if you want to save $5 on the registration fee, you have to register before the 19th of July. A lot of times this camp fill up and there's no spaces after that, but there should be some spaces left right now. So this camp meets every day from 7:30 to 4:30. The kids get a snack and they get lunch. And then at the end of it, on the 15th, they have a graduation where the families get to come for a picnic in the fire station. And these kids get their little medals for the camp. It's really fun. The kids just love it. They learn safety and everything. So they'll be going swimming a couple of the days, more if it's really hot. They learn electrical safety, bike safety, fire safety, just all the things that connected to safety. And these kids really like this camp and they really have fun with it.
We've been out over the past years to do some stories about those camps, and it makes us want to be a kid again, just go through that and learn all of the things they're learning. So hope kids take advantage of that. Here's another one that you'll want to get on your calendar. And I know our family already talking about the date we're going to go. That's to the Off-Broadway Musical Theater. Again, tell us about this group and where they'll be performing and when.
Well, first of all, Dave, you know you can go more than once.
Okay, you're right.
Just just saying.
Thank
So
you.
the dates are July 17th to the 27th. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of both of those weeks. The play starts at 8 o'clock. Because of the way our outdoor theater is set up, you have to bring your own chair or blanket to sit on, and it's kind of terraced, so you can everybody gets a good view. The sound system is fabulous. So they're doing Bye Bye Birdie. I've never seen it. I so far I plan to go twice because so often you go and you miss so much the first time.
Hmm.
And then when you know how it ends, it's fun to go the second time because you can actually pay attention to the songs and the other stuff that's going on. So they're asking for a $5 free will donation if you can afford that. Also, they're doing not a toy drive, a food drive for Prism and Near. So you
Hmm.
can bring canned goods there and your $5 donation. They'll be selling popcorn and soda and pop. I don't drink pop. I don't eat candy, but boy, that popcorn's good.
We'll take that advice from the mayor, so hope people can get out for that. And if you can't wait to get to that place to see some entertainment, how about this really early here coming up on the 10th? There is some entertainment in the park taking place.
But this is music in the park. It's by I gotta read this so I can get it right. Las Rebeldes. So they play Tex-Mex, country, and folk rock.
Hmm.
That starts at 8 o'clock. Usually, I'm sorry, that starts at 7 o'clock. Usually lasts till about 8:30. That one's free, and a lot of times they'll have a vendor there, or maybe even a food truck. A couple times ago, they had an ice cream vendor there, and
Excellent.
the ice cream was free.
Very
So
nice.
good place to go for a nice summer day.
Also, the golf course, great place to go during the summertime here. Again, it might be a little hot, but there's lots of trees, so you'll get in some shade. Tell us what's new at the golf course and how things are going there.
Well, there's always open golf there, except when there's leagues. So the leagues are pretty much in the morning and the late afternoons. There's some evening leagues. So if you want to play during the week, you really need to call to get a tee time so it's available. On weekends, pretty much it's available all the time. But still, this last weekend, I understand it was pretty much booked up all the time. So you do need to call and get a tee time for that. Just a note to people, you can still rent that back patio. There's a couple spaces left in the summer for that, and they're starting to take reservations for the clubhouse. And that only happens after golf quits, so that'll be in October sometime. They'll have dates for you if you need an indoor space. Great place to have a Christmas party, a family gathering in the fall or winter, and it's pretty reasonable.
Also, inside the booklet from the city on park and rec activities, there is a page about golf, page 36. You can look there to find out more about lessons and some of the other things that might be coming up. Let's go to the aquatics park. This is going to be the place to be this coming week as we start to hear about some 90-degree temperatures, and they're ready for people to get wet, right?
Well, I'm going to tell you about the pool opening and the pool closing. There's
Okay,
good and bad news here.
gotcha.
So the pool is open Monday through Friday. This isn't a normal week. Monday through Friday, during the week from noon to 8, and on weekends from 11 to 7. That's the good news. The bad news is there's a regional swim meet there this weekend. So the pool will be closed entirely from July 11th, 12th, no, 12th, 13th, and 14th. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
Mhm.
it'll be totally closed to the public. The reason for that is when we were going to build the pool, the swim clubs wanted 50-meter pool and they wanted a couple extra lanes. And we said, well, we need some money from you then. And they gave us some money in return. They said, we want to have a regional meet there, a yearly regional meet. And this is the weekend for that. It's too bad it's such a nice hot weekend, but
Mhm.
that's what's going on. So I'm going to tell you some other stuff that happens at the pool that's kind of fun.
Mhm.
The cabana, you can always rent that cabana,
Right.
except not on the 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Got
You
it.
can rent the cabanas and make arrangements for box lunches so you can have like a corporate gathering there at the pool. They're also doing tot time again. That'll be on the 20th and the 27th of July, and that's 9:45 to 10:45. And that's for the little ones, the 0 to 5. There's no big people in that little shallow pool. So the
Mhm.
kids can just play in that shallow pool and there are not a lot of big kids around. So also they have water walking Monday through Friday, 9 to 11:45, and that costs $6 if you don't have a season pass. And
Okay.
that what that is, you walk against the current in the vortex pool. So that's a fun water walk. They also have adult aerobics on Sundays, but of course, not this Sunday, I don't think.
Hmm.
And that's
Hmm.
7:45 to 8:30 p.m. And then there's the adult lap swimming, weekdays 9 to 11:45, and then 6 to 8
Okay.
weekdays. So that's all I know about the pool, but just keep in mind that nothing happens this weekend from 12th, 13th, and 14th of July.
Good to know. Let's talk about elections for just a moment. It is an election year, as we all know, and actually the absentee voting already happening. Remind us about the election process and the city of New Hope and how residents can maybe find out some more information.
So what we're doing now is on August 13th is the voting day for the primary. And so what we're doing now is you can come into City Hall and you can vote absentee, or you can also register to vote up until the 12th of July. And this is just for the primary. You should note that the city does not have anybody in the primary election because we didn't have enough people filing. So the primary will be federal and state. And then after that, you'll get a postcard, though, before the 13th of August that'll tell you where your polling place is on the 13th. And then after the primary, they'll have the presidential and the federal and the city elections. And
Mhm.
they will also, you can vote at City Hall, you can vote absentee there, or you can wait till your polling day and vote at your polling place. So lots of stuff going on. You can go onto the website, mnvotes, that's with an s.org or .gov, and it'll give you all the information. It'll even tell you where your polling place
Mhm.
is.
Yep, very handy information there. Here's another event coming up. It is in August. The first Tuesday, always in August, is Night to Unite, also known as National Night Out in some cities. Remind us why this is a great event to get involved in and why residents maybe should act right now.
Well, it's a funny bit.
Yeah.
Why we changed from National Night Out to Night to Unite is National Night Out got kind of expensive to buy into the name, and so that's when they changed it at Night to Unite. Still happens on August 6th. What it is a bunch of parties around the city. You can have just an ice cream social. You can have a potluck. You can have a weenie roast. Anything your neighborhood wants to do. And we do want people to register before the 19th of July because there's a few party packs left. And in that will be paper plates and silverware and balloons and door hangers and just other things. But even if they're not, you should register because if you want a visit from somebody from the city. So we have police cars going out. I go out with the city manager and the police chief, but you have to request us to come out because they give us a schedule and we're supposed to stick to that schedule. And we
Mhm.
just can't go willy-nilly around the city. So if you want somebody, you can request a fire truck. You can request the dump truck if you want. Anything you want to request, you can try to do that. But you have to do that by the 19th of July.
Very nice. And one other note, I believe they're doing some food collections there, also school supplies. So if you're thinking of having a party, maybe let the neighbors coming know that they can bring those along, and those will go to some great causes around. Couple final fun facts to pass along that the mayor's put together that you should know about as a resident. The first is utility bills. You have made it very handy again to get those utility bills paid. How does that work?
Well, I think some people might have forgotten because I saw a guy park his car, get out of his car, go up to the building and put it in the little slot. So since they don't have it at Public Works anymore, there's a drive-through at the city. So you need to be pointing your car to the east, and that way, as the driver, the box is right there. You don't have to get out of your car. You can just put your utility bill in the little slot. If you really want to get out of your car, it's open. The little slot is open on the building, but it's much easier just to drive by.
Fridays is the city hall is the place to be for some great food opportunities. Remind us again, kind of a fun fact is the city of New Hope pays some special attention to having some food trucks come to city hall every week. How does this work?
The food trucks are kind of in the west part of the parking lot. They used to be in the front part, but now they're back in the west part. Well, that's the good news. They're Fridays from 11 to 2. The bad news is they will not be there on the 12th because that parking lot just fills up. This regional meet brings in a few hundred people, and those few hundred people are going to Hy-Vee to eat. They're eating the food that's at the pool. So we don't have the food trucks there on Friday the 12th, but they'll be there at the one after that.
Very good. And a final note to pass along, another date for your calendar here after you have the fun with your neighbors on the 6th of August at Night to Unite. We want to make sure you're out on the 7th for something called the Lions Corn Feed. And this has a lot of history to it as well, Mayor.
It does. So this is in the parking lot where Unique Thrift Store is, and it's a big tent. I don't know what the cost is this year, but usually it's $5, $6, $7, something like that, for all the corn you can eat. And there are people who keep track of how many ears of corn they eat, and the corn is so good. So they're cooking corn from any time from 4:30 till about 7:30 or 8. It's marvelous the number of people that go there. Of course, this is the New Hope Lions, and all of the money that they take in goes back to the community, to the Boy Scouts, to the Girl Scouts, to the food shelves. It just goes to back into the community. So it's a really nice event. So come there. They also have hot dogs and hamburgers if you don't want to just eat corn.
Very nice. All right. Get out and get some great food and help out the community in the future here. Well, Mayor, thanks so much for your time again today. Appreciate the update. And again, newhopemn.gov. You see it at the bottom of the screen. If you have any more questions or need more information about the city, you can find it there. And stick with us, a calendar of events, listing some of the things we've talked about, and maybe a few other things you might want to get involved in. Mayor, have a great week. Stay cool out there, and we'll talk to you again in the near future.
Thanks, Dave. See you next.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.